Punk Revolution now. Today we're going to be reviewing Eminem's newest album, Music to Be Murdered By. So this is Eminem's 11th album. He dropped it out of nowhere. The album title, Music to Be Murdered By, is actually a reference to an album released by Alfred Hitchcock of the same name. So that's kind of cool. This album actually features Alfred Hitchcock samples throughout it, which I think is got to give Eminem credit. That's kind of a cool thing to do. We got production on this album by Dr. Dre and a number of other artists. We got some pretty interesting features that are kind of eye-catching, like Black Thought, Q-Tip, Juice WRLD, Anderson .Paak, and a number of others. So I think Eminem assembled a pretty great team to work on this album. So that's that. Let's see what the 11th album by Eminem, a surprise album out of freaking nowhere, has in store for us. Let's start by taking a look at the fucking album cover. So this album artwork, there's actually two versions of album artwork released with this album. There's one where Eminem is wearing a trilby and holding a shovel for some reason, and then there's another where he has like this axe and is doing this edgy kind of like I'm gonna kill myself thing, which I actually prefer that version because it is another reference to Alfred Hitchcock and Alfred Hitchcock's album Music to Be Murdered By. Very similar album covers, as you can see. Yeah, and it's actually not really clear at all why Eminem decided to refer to and sample Alfred Hitchcock through this album. You know, it's kind of cool, but it doesn't really contribute to any sort of cohesive message. This album doesn't really seem to have any sort of cohesiveness at all, honestly. There are a number of themes touched on here about, like gun violence and like just senseless murdering and acts of terrorism. It ranges from somewhat thoughtful tracks like Darkness, which is my favorite track on this album, that has a pretty interesting storytelling to it, kind of a plot twist, Las Vegas shooter background to it, and an interesting Simon and Garfunkel sample. But there's also moments where he tells like kind of makes insensitive jokes, like about the Ariana Grande concert bombing. There's actually a CNN article about it where they say Eminem went too fucking far, which is, you know, probably true. I'll put the article in the link. You can read it. It's actually kind of interesting to read. But also, like, this is Eminem, you know the reason Eminem is saying this shit is just so articles will be released about it and so he can get your attention. Eminem doesn't really give a shit. He's clearly a nihilist. He just fucking says whatever garbage, and it's gonna be like watching a stupid action movie. It's fucking stupid, it's cringe, it's dumb, but it's wild, and that's fun. It's fun, okay? Eminem is fun. He's a talented rapper, okay? He raps fast. He says a lot of nonsense. And, I mean, this is a fucking Eminem album in 2020. I don't need to review this. You already know what it's gonna sound like. You already know it's gonna be lyrics about violence and drugs and sex and how many people he had sex with and the fucking, my feelings make me feel fucking psycho and I want to kill a woman for no reason. You know Eminem does that shit. There's nothing, it's not shocking anymore. And this album, it goes on for too long. And it just gets boring because we've heard it all before from Eminem, not only in this album, but his entire career, okay? You already know he's gonna be referring to his ex, referring to his fucking stepdad. It's just like, we get it. And, you know what? I fucking like it. It's like it's just like watching a funny, stupid, like a fucking stupid action movie. It's stupid. And Eminem is talented. He's talented. And the features here are pretty good too. And it makes this album doesn't make any fucking sense at all. But it's wild and it's fun. And I like the trap influence. I like some of the samples here. I like the features do a good job. The lyrics are so dumbfounding. The fact that it gets a CNN article. This is a fun album. Eminem fans are going to be happy with it. It's severely flawed, kind of cringe someone as old as Eminem is making music like this, without a doubt. Flawed, gets boring, but is also full of special moments that make you go, what the fuck is Eminem, how does music like this exist? Who told Eminem to release this fucking crap? So, I don't know, like, I had fun with it, but it's flawed. I'm going to give it a 5.1 out of 10. I think Eminem fans are going to be happy with it. Don't say this album is terrible, because it's really not terrible at all. A lot of people praise Marshall Mathers' LP as some sort of masterpiece and then trash, Music to Be Murdered By and other Eminem recent releases. But realistically, if you actually look at the content of the lyrics and shit, they're not that different. I mean, of course, Marshall Mathers' LP has better, like, hooks and shit, but whatever. Point is, 5.1 out of 10. Thanks for watching, Eminem. You're a legend, even though you're a fucking idiot. Thanks for watching Punk Revolution now.